Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by Cachefly. CACHEFLY.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Saturday, Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2015. This is episode 1161. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Gazelle, the fast and simple way to sell your used gadgets. Find out what your used iPhone, iPad, or other Apple product is worth at Gazelle.com. Well, hey, happy Valentine's Day. Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk about computers, the internet, cell phones, camcorders, MP3 players, home theater, and all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the number if you have a question, a comment, a suggestion. 888-827-5536. That's toll-free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. We have people listening all over the world, however. Albert Pinheiro listening right now in Brazil, where they're celebrating Carnival. What are you listening to the show for, Albert? Get out there on the street and dance. But if that's what I'd be doing. But if you are listening elsewhere in the world, you can always use Skype to call us at 888-827-5536. That's toll-free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. It's great to have you. Lovely to see you on Valentine's Day. If you have a geek gift from your honey or for your honey, we could talk about that, help you answer questions about that. President Obama was in our neck of the woods yesterday speaking to tech leaders about cyber warfare and a safer internet. And I was getting a little nervous when federal officials talk about the internet. Do you know what I mean? It's like I feel like, they've discovered we're here. But indeed, we do have to pay attention, I guess, to threats from overseas. We've seen it. We've seen it in private industry, certainly. And I think he's speaking more of the financial services industry, our money, our power grid, which is very vulnerable, according to studies, to hacking from bad guys. It's become very obvious that nations all over the world have, hacker cores, from North Korea to China to all of the other nations in Europe, and they all have their little cadre of hackers who are going out there and breaking in and spying. Oh, and of course us. Let's not forget the U.S. is, we're thought leaders in that area. There's not really much to say except, hey, we got to watch out here. During the week, the president set up something called CTIC. I don't know what the acronym is, but basically he took under the White House's auspices the cyber threat services. There's still going to be the department. So until this week, all of the responsibility for protecting the United States against cyber attacks was in the hands of the Department of Homeland Security, which kind of makes sense. But I think that because there's some fear that government might be hacked, I think the president wanted something closer to the White House that he could go, hey, what's going on? But I want to make clear that doesn't eliminate the public-facing computer emergency response team, or CERT, that's run by the Department of Homeland Security and all the other groups that are trying to protect our shores. But it's a challenge. And we've been talking about this for more than a decade. I remember interviewing the author of a book who said this is the next big, front of international combat, and pointed out that, in fact, that we're fairly vulnerable because, and this makes sense, as early adopters of digital technology, a lot of our infrastructure is run by computers, and computers that, frankly, aren't that well secured. A lot of them running Windows XP, things like that. So it's going to be an interesting challenge to protect our shores and preserve our, frankly, our openness and freedom. And we've seen this challenge before in other ways as well. While I understand why we kind of have to pay attention to this, it makes me nervous to see the feds, saying, oh, we'll take it from here. We've done so well with kind of an internet that no one has been in charge of. And yet I understand. We kind of do have to pay attention to it. Do you want to talk about that? Or you want to talk about your stuff? Of course you want to talk about your stuff. What's going on with your world? 8888 Ask Leo. That is the phone number to call. 8888-275536. Hope you're surviving the winter weather. We have unseasonably warm weather here. I was telling John, our studio manager, why are we doing the show inside? Wasn't that the best time in school when they say, let's have class outside? Do they ever do that? Are you too afraid to go outside now? Hey, just a sad note, David Carr, who was a New York Times journalist and really one of the most inspired and I think astute journalists writing about social media, new media, passed away suddenly. He was only 58. He died with his boots on in the Times newsroom. But he will be missed. His last event was a panel with Snowden and Glenn Greenwald and Laporte, who were the journalists who helped bring Edward Snowden's revelations to the world. Snowden Skyped in, which he's been wont to do. So he died with his boots on. He was in there covering the story. Pretty impressive. Do you use Pinterest? A lot of people use Pinterest. I didn't know this. Pinterest, very popular. You use Pinterest, I would guess. No? I'm asking Heather Hammond. I have this, I know, mistaken impression that Pinterest mostly appeals to women. But it is very popular, and people pin stuff that it's like a scrapbook or more like a bulletin board where you pin stuff that you think is cool, and other people can see it. And in the past, one way people have actually used Pinterest to make money is with affiliate links. So if you're somebody who really, hey, you're really good at finding cool furniture, you pin this stuff, and then you put a link to where you can buy it, and it's what we call an affiliate link. Maybe you're familiar with these. You can make a lot of money with affiliate links. Amazon does this. A lot of places do this, where when people click the link, you get a small percentage of the sale. Sometimes that's a lot. I think Amazon is like 5%. It can be more. So it could be a pretty hefty income. Pinterest has decided they're banning it all. No more affiliate links. They claim it has nothing to do with the fact that they want to take some of the money. Apparently, there are networks like something called Reward Style and Hello Society. If you know about this, I'd love to hear from you. They're specifically targeted to Pinterest. They help you set up an account with Hello Society, and their whole business model was getting people to use affiliate links on Pinterest. Pinterest actually has pitched some ways to make money. You know, it's interesting in the internet these days. And these days, it's been this way for 20 years. Since the internet bubble of the late 90s, if you don't worry about making money. You just worry about getting a scaling, they call it, just getting people, in under the tent. You'll figure out, Twitter, same exact, it's Facebook. We'll figure out a way to make money. Pinterest has finally started thinking about how to make money. They're pitching something that Twitter does, promoted pins, an ad offering from Pinterest, somebody paid for, that is in amongst your pins. They did a deal with Apple, which is very interesting. One of the problems Apple has, and one of the problems we as Apple or other smartphone users have, is finding the next big app, right? Pinterest hopes that they can use their platform to promote apps, and they've done a deal with Apple to help do that. App install ads. Facebook's done well with that. Sorry about that. I just had to turn on my my Mac. If I say the word Apple, it gets lonely. Facebook's done that. They've pitched this idea of app installs, app ads. And then Pinterest is also thinking about launching a buy button next to stuff, pins on Pinterest. Oh. So no wonder they don't want you to do that. If you're a Pinterest user, how do you feel about that? Let's talk about it. 8888 Ask Leo. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Oh, 10 years of Twit logos. Let's see. Little busy, but not, it's an idea. We're starting to get some. People are starting to send them in.
What are they sending in?
Well, it's our 10th. This year is our 10th year. So I wanted to kind of think maybe change our logo just a little bit. You know how sometimes a business will do that?
We'll have a special anniversary one.
Yeah, for the whole year, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes businesses do that.
For sure.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Beautiful Valentine's Day. It's always beautiful if you've got a Valentine. 8888 Ask Leo. Leo Laporte here. Heather Hammond, the phone ranger, there. She's screening the calls. What are you screening them for?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Ebola.
Measles. Yeah.
Measles. Any? I see that we have quite a few. Is there anybody I should start the day with?
For sure.
I like to start with something fun, something different, maybe something a little bit upbeat.
My instinct, I believe, is right on. Andre in Burbank is a traveling man. And wants to know about taking his phone with him.
Ricky Nelson, right? You're too young for this.
I'm way too young.
Way before your time. Andre in Burbank, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Andre.
How you doing, Leo?
I am well. How are you?
I'm at work. I'm on lunch right now, so I was able to make the phone call.
Good. Well, I'm glad because normally we keep you on hold for a couple of hours, and that really wouldn't help. So I'm glad we could get to you right away. What can I do for you?
Next week I'm going to be traveling to London and Paris. It's my 5-year anniversary, so we're kind of getting away.
How romantic is that? Sounds wonderful.
I'm super excited, but while we're there, I want to be able to use my phone to, send some Snapchat pictures and, make my friends jealous.
Yeah. Data overseas has become a big topic as people travel more, and we all have our little computers in our pockets. And, there's, of course, it used to be we talked a lot about how do you get phone calls without costing, an arm and a leg and all of that stuff. But that's become secondary to how do I get data. And we've mentioned many, many times that you do not want to use data roaming. Just as your smartphone will roam on another country's network. In France, maybe your phone would say Orange. In England, it might say 3 or EE, and it would be on that phone network. Same thing with data. But for some reason, not sure why, it's extremely expensive to roam with data. So the first thing you always should do before you go overseas is disable data roaming. So just to make sure you don't get a $10,000 bill. And the reason it takes people, you laugh, but it happens. The reason it takes people off guard is because they say, but I didn't use data. I didn't check my email. But your phone's always checking your email and doing stuff. And, of course, if you decide you want a Snapchat or a Vine or Twitter or Facebook, well, it's even more. So even with data roaming turned off, your smartphone can do that with Wi-Fi connection. And almost every hotel, it's rare nowadays for a hotel not to have Wi-Fi. Most cafes have Wi-Fi. It's easy to get Wi-Fi. So the free solution is turn off data roaming and get Wi-Fi. But if you want more, and it's worth getting more because, for instance, wandering around Paris, and this has happened to me, it's easy to get lost. It's fun to get lost. You want to get lost. That's part of the fun. I have no idea where I am. In the old days, you'd have to ask a local, and they'd shrug and... But nowadays, you just pull out your phone, you launch your Google Maps, and it says, it gives you directions back to the hotel, which is great. You can use Uber in both London and Paris, which is nice if you can't get a cab. There's lots of reasons. Get restaurant recommendations. I've done that too. You're in a neighborhood. Where's a good place to eat around here? Zagat, Yelp, Google Maps themselves, all will tell you. So there's lots of reasons to have data. Who's your carrier?
AT&T. I have a Note 3, and I was able to successfully root it.
Yeah.
So I was just curious what would be the best option. I have some apps that can really shut down. Put apps in hibernate so nothing goes into data roaming.
Yeah. If you obviously know what you're doing, and hibernating an app will keep it from going out and checking the network. But I wouldn't rely on that, only because. Whoops. It could be an expensive whoops. So there's a couple of things you could do. You can go to AT&T and buy some international data. It's pricey, but it's not as bad as it would be if you didn't. I'm trying to remember what I've paid in the past. I've in the past bought a significant amount. I think 250 megabytes, and I think it was $100. And if you're gone for a week, that's probably enough. You should look at your data usage, though. You may, what you don't want to be doing is streaming Netflix movies, because that'll eat through that right away. So on a smartphone, you'll look at data usage. Android's nice because it has a graph that'll show you data usage. So you want to keep a close eye on that. It'll warn you. iPhones will do the same thing. You can see the data usage. Don't trust it 100%. I have come back from trips overseas, called AT&T and said, well, I see here I used 200 megabytes and I had 250. And they said, no, that's wrong. You actually used a gigabyte. And that's a big bill.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't trust it 100%. One thing you can do is there's a wiki that's really great. It's called Prepaid with Data. And this is one way to do it, is to buy a SIM card or a data device in the country. Europe now, the rules, I can't remember if they've taken place or not. The EU has established rules for data roaming throughout the EU. So you're in England and France, it'd be no problem to get one card that would work in both places. But go to prepaidwithdata.wikia.com. If you Google prepaid with data, you'll get right there. And you can look at those two countries. And it's user contributed, how much it cost to get data, what plans were the best, what companies were the best. 3 is a company, for instance, in England that will sell you unlimited data for about £30. Not very expensive. But when you do that, you put that SIM in your phone, you now have an English phone number. So that means you won't get calls at your old number unless you forward your old number to the new number.
Okay.
But you will get data. If your honey has a phone, have her bring. One thing you can do is have one phone that has your phone number that's not changed, but you turn off roaming, and one phone where you have a third-party, local card in there. You can also get, and this is what we did in London, a MiFi card. It's like a credit card-sized device that becomes a wireless access point, but it's not. It's Wi-Fi, so your phone's working on the Wi-Fi. You still can turn off data roaming, but it's as you walk around because it's getting its data from the 4G network, and that's usually pretty affordable too. I did that with EE in England. That's pretty affordable too. But you want to look at it. Ideally, how long are you spending in each place?
A week in Paris and a week in London.
So it's worth it to get spend. You can any phone store. You go to these stores and you can buy these things. So it's fairly easy to do. You get it in England, then when you get to France, if you need a new one, which you probably will, then you get one there. But prepaid with data is very good, and it covers the world. It covers every country. And the rules are different. Whether the phone will work is different. The frequencies are different. There's all sorts of. This is a much more nuanced subject than I'm giving you in 5 minutes. But that's the general gist of it. Be careful. Don't allow data roaming unless you have, set up a plan.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to pay the expensive AT&T data rates, you can usually get a local device that will work.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a great trip. What a great 5-year anniversary trip. Sounds wonderful.
Yeah, first long trip away from the kids too. So
yeah, I remember that first trip from the kids. It's anxious, and that's why you want that phone to work. You want that phone number. You don't want to lose that number. You want the kids to be able to go, I ran out of Cheerios. What do I do? Have a great time. What a great romantic trip. 2 of my favorite cities in the world. Lots of ways to do this, but I think that covers it mostly. And that wiki is so great. Prepaid with data. We'll put that in the show notes at Tech Guy Labs. Three, stop the unlimited. Yeah, nobody wants to do unlimited. I had an EE MiFi card that was great. EE probably would work in France too, right? Because it's Deutsche Tele. It's a merger of Deutsche Telekom. I can't remember who it is, but well, it can't use data if you disable the data. All you have to do is disable data roaming. You can use your phone, and the advantage of keeping your regular phone and disable data roaming is you'll continue to get phone calls, and in any Wi-Fi area, which are everywhere, you'll work fine. And that's the free way that probably for most people works fine. What I would do, here's what I I think is probably the sensible way to do it, is get a small amount of international data from AT&T. Get 100 megabytes, which is like $50. Turn off data roaming. Whenever possible, use Wi-Fi. So you want to do a Snapchat, wait till you're back at the hotel or at a cafe with Wi-Fi. You could take the picture now, but Snapchat it when you get to the hotel. And then, but you have the capability of doing data roaming. If you get lost or you're looking for a restaurant, then you go into your settings, you turn on data roaming, you quickly check Zagat or the map, then you turn it off again. There's more to this. For instance, Google Maps will let you preload a map. So actually, I recommend that while you're in the hotel, preload the area that you're in so that you don't need Wi-Fi to see where you are and how to get home. There's lots of little tricks. Lots of little tricks. Did you bring me this balloon, darling?
I didn't.
Oh.
Sorry. I brought you donuts.
Oh, even better.
I wouldn't give you a Mylar balloon. I mean, it's beautiful, but I was kind
Bad
of
for the
thinking,
fishies.
Nothing says I love you like
a Mylar balloon
from the grocery store.
Somebody did that, so don't knock it.
I know. How cruel am I? Sorry.
I like it.
Well, I like it for the set because it's festive. It looks great floating over your shoulder.
Right.
That.
I have a little heart floating over my shoulder. Would you swipe left or swipe right?
I think I'm going to join Tinder today just to...
See, she knows what that means. That's become the new thing. I'm seeing it everywhere. Oh, swipe right. Isn't there a song, Swipe Left?
Ooh.
Oh, I saw it. It was on the Grammys. They were trying to get young people not to smoke. And they were showing if you're looking at your Tinder and the guy's smoking, swipe left.
Gotcha.
I thought, wow.
That's pretty smart.
I wonder what...
There's just, I can't get over it. Maybe people in the chat room know or have any experience. It just seems that there's a sleaze element. Or
to Tinder?
element.
Oh, it's a hookup app.
Well, I don't want that.
Well, only
Do
if
you
you
have
wanted
to
to hook up.
Kiss?
You have to kiss. No, you're just going to have a nice drink and a conversation.
And then decide.
Yeah, I don't think you're required to hook up.
Well, no.
Although Sarah told quite
sleazy
the
and
story.
scary.
I think it is. But on the other hand, I think online dating, as you well know, is normal and mainstream, and I'm not judging that. But Tinder is kind of. But Sarah Lane is talking about Tinder on iPad Today last week, and apparently she swiped right, which means okay, and the guy had swiped right, and they started talking. But then, and she said, this is something all you gals should know. Tinder apparently hooks you up via Facebook, right? So you have the person's Facebook page. So it's hard to be somebody you're not. And so she did a little research on the guy. Turns out he'd been arrested something like 24 times for felonies. And had a wife.
Page?
And on his Facebook. Well, no, but she did a little. Okay, so first she saw the Facebook page, wife and kids. Okay, that's kind of it.
Oh, my God.
But then she did a little more research on Jailhost or something. There's some site you can go to. And she found all his felonies, and anyway.
Even though he's got a wife and kids, let's check Jailhost.
Yeah, well, I wonder what the order of that was. Maybe he's okay.
I'm getting a puppy.
It is Valentine's Day. And so Heather Hammond and I were talking dating apps. And one thing I've noted, in my generation, I think online dating maybe was initially perceived when it first started, Match.com and stuff like that, as a little like, come on, really? But frankly, I think it's very mainstream now, isn't it? Everybody does it. There's nothing wrong with it. There are many different sites. I also remember from maybe 10 years ago that there were dating sites that were more about getting a relationship, like Match and eHarmony, Christian Mingle, things like that were focused on relationships. And then there were other sites that were more focused on, how shall we put it, fun and games. I was told by a young single colleague of mine that, for instance, Lava Life, is that still around, was very much a way to meet people who are looking to have a good time. Now, though, we don't even, it's not even the websites anymore. Now we have apps, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not putting you on the spot here. You're not using, I don't know what you're doing, and I want to know.
I'll tell you anything.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're good. But you date. You look for, you've been looking for a relationship online, not, you date online.
I like dating.
And then there's apps. And have you used the apps like Tinder?
I signed
Hot
up
or
for
not?
it, and then I got kind of flipped out and didn't do it and just stuck with good old Match or OkCupid.
I think OkCupid, there's another good one. I know my daughter I hope I'm not revealing any secrets, has used OkCupid and has met some nice guys that way. That's how people meet nowadays, and I think that's great. The apps, though, there are Tinder, for instance. The kids call it more like of a hookup app. Okay, just we're getting a little primer here on what's going on, and if you're seeing this on your kids' phones, that's more for like, hey, a good time. For a good time, call Tinder.
You're cute and geographically convenient.
Located. But I'm watching the Grammys last Sunday, and it's an anti-smoking ad. And it's obviously aimed at young people. And they say, hey, if you see a picture of the guy or the gal and she's smoking, swipe left. Now, I happen to know, not because I use Tinder, I don't, but because it's my job as the tech guy to know these things, that's how you reject somebody in Tinder. If you swipe right, it means I'm willing to communicate with you. If you both swipe right, then Tinder makes a connection and you can not email, but you can message each other. If you swipe left, that's like, no, I don't want to hear from you. So this ad, obviously kids are they know what swipe left and swipe right means. And so this ad, which doesn't mention Tinder, says swipe left if you smoke and swipe left. Which I think it's an effective anti-smoking ad, probably. Like
swipe right is the new thumbs up.
Yeah, it is. It's thumbs up, thumbs down. It's become well known. Swipe right. One of our colleagues, who shall remain nameless to protect her identity, who does use Tinder, not you, Heather Hammond. In fact, as you just said, you had it, but you decided not to use it because it's very appearance focused. You don't know anything about the person except their picture. And you swipe left or right based on what they look like, basically. Which I being an old-fashioned guy, I know you can't judge a book by its cover.
It's a good place to start.
See, like I said, old-fashioned guy. So, well, it depends what you're looking for, My wife is a lovely woman, and I would have absolutely swiped right. I want to say that right now. I would have swiped right.
Totally.
That's the new Valentine. I'd swipe right for you.
All over again, honey.
How long before those candy hearts say swipe right?
Yeah. Oh.
I bet. They're very hip. They've got new media. You got one there. Yeah. Swipe right. So she swiped right. Good-looking fella, very handsome. He swiped right as well. They were able to communicate. But one thing I guess Tinder does is the way you sign up, and this is the case with a lot of apps. You sign up through your Facebook account, which I think is great because it means you cannot impersonate somebody. Facebook has a real names policy, which they're pretty good about enforcing. In fact, it's kind of controversial. We'll talk about that sometime. But you pretty much know that that's the person. So she checks out his Facebook profile. He's married, has kids. So, okay, great. Nice that she could see that.
Yeah.
But then apparently there's more information, like his phone number and his Facebook page. She checks that out. He's got over 30 felony arrests. Apparently, there's a site, and I wish I could remember the name. Jail.
Ted Bundy.
Yeah. Yeah, really.
Good-looking sociopath.
He's got a wife in every state. His name is Bluebeard. But apparently there is a site. Is it Jail?
Jail Host.
Jail Host. I wanted to say Jailbreak, but that's not it. Anyway, yeah, like Jail Host or something, where you can look up somebody's criminal record. So obviously, now I don't know, once you've swiped right, I don't know if you can swipe left. I think you've already established the connection. So Jailbase. Thank you, Mike Mann in the chat room. Apparently knows.
The Facebook thing is helpful too, because then you see if you have friends in common, right? And then you're like, oh, is this guy cool or what's he like?
I think it's a great kind of protection. I agree.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Built in. All right.
So jailbase.com, I guess, ladies, you probably would want to check your Tinder date before.
Yeah, over 3 felonies. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No way. 2.
It says the tagline is arrest information for the people. And they even have a jail-based app, so you can do this all without going home. You can do it in the bar. Maybe a good idea.
Leo, you have done all the women
of
the world a really good
service. Let's not be sexist. There are a few women with arrest records as well.
Sure. There's some crazy ones out there. Lorena Bobbitt, was that her
if
name?
anybody has used a sharp instrument in the pursuit of romance or perhaps set a bed on fire, those kinds of things, I stay away from.
Well, now you're talking 50 Shades of Grey. That
came out this week, too. We live in a kind of a different society than I grew up in. I grew up in I was born in 1956. I grew up in the 60s. I guess it started to become kind of more liberated in the mid to late 60s. But still, even I sometimes am shocked by the national discourse. Nevertheless, ladies, if you're going to use a hookup app. But I think about my daughter. She's 23. She's an adult. I think it's great, a great way to meet people, but I would hope she would use the tools to also protect herself before she goes to a coffee shop, or I guess meet the guy in public would probably be good advice. That's still good advice, right? Don't have dinner, have a cup of coffee so you can get out of there quick. If he turns out to be a little weird. So anyway, I also, though, I have to say, I'm a little jealous. I kind of wish when I was a young man, when I was going a courting, that we'd had stuff like that. I think those are good tools. Anyway, I don't want to.
So you could run a quick background check?
I'm happily married. Yeah.
It is all good. I mean,
I've never actually. I wonder if I should run Lisa through this. No.
Too late.
Too late now. Okay, there's another piece of advice. Don't do it with your wife or husband.
Don't do it after the fact. It'll just muddy the waters.
It's too late. Let's Click Nick says in our chat room, I'm downloading the Jailbase app right now. Oh, lordy, lordy. Peter in Los Angeles. You're next, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Peter. Happy Valentine's Day.
Hey, same to you.
Thank you.
Listen, I have a couple. Sitting here, I've had a bunch of questions come up, but I'm going to narrow it to the one that I, originally came in with, and then maybe add another one if it's real brief. Because think photos to PC, think iPhone to PC, right?
Yep.
And I've got a whole bunch of photos on an old iPhone, and I need to transfer them to PC. So it's an iPhone 3GS with, a lot. Like way too many.
Yeah, get them off now because that older iPhone, who knows how long it'll last. That's a database that's not backed up.
Yeah. It's a 3GS and it's a 6 iOS, and I got to take it to a PC Windows 7, right? Is there any way to do it directly? Like not going through any other, but just directly?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Hold on a second. We'll take a break. We have to because I hear the magic music. But absolutely, there's plenty of ways to do this, and I do recommend it. We'll talk about it when we come back. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. According to Jailbase, Leo Laporte has an arrest record. It's good I'm off the dating scene. But I bet you if you look up any name, because remember that to get this information, you need to pay, right? Or maybe not. It's got my age accurate. It's got my relatives accurate.
Are you looking at yourself on Jailbase?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's showing all my profiles.
Now I'm extra glad I didn't get arrested in high school for... Never mind.
Now what? Success. Data found. Your background report on Leo Gordon Laporte is ready to be viewed.
All you have to do now.
Personal information, current address, historical addresses, judgments and liens, phone numbers, felonies, licenses and permits, bankruptcy, arrest records, known relatives, misdemeanors, and much more. Access background report. This is where the credit card has to come out, I bet. But now I want to know. I can assure you I have no arrest record, either misdemeanors or felonies. Okay, once in college, I was streaking. That was big when I was in college. And a campus cop chased me up the stairs, cornered me, and said, "Show me your ID." And I said, "Officer?"
Do I look
Officer?
like I'm carrying ID?
Can you rethink that question? Now that I have a tattoo on my butt, it's easy. But at the time...
I was the driver for our streaking club.
Yeah, streaking was big when we were young.
I did the driving.
I didn't mind streaking. It was a mass campus streak. Everybody on the old campus, which is 1,000 freshmen, we were all streaking. I don't know what the campus cops thought they were going to do. It wasn't in public. It was on the campus. Anyway, I said, "I don't have any ID." Well, said, "Well, tell me your name." And I gave him my name. So that may show up. I just have to warn you. Please prove you're a human. All right. I'm proving I'm a human now. And continuing.
Prove you have credit.
Prove you have credit by giving us a credit card. Yeah, I think it's all BS. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 ask Leo. We're talking about photos in an iPhone GS. Probably gigabytes of photos. You know what's fun is finding an old phone. As I did the other day, I found an old Nokia 93 that still had the memory card in it, and I'm thinking, magic time. There's going to be some great old photos on that 3GS. So you have Windows 7. You can hook it up via USB, right?
Yes, and first I just want to point out, too, because one of the things I just learned about really recently was a way to take a photo and apply it to natural fiber optic-like clothing, fabrics. Yeah, and so I have this photo of this old college streaker that I want to
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! You can't prove it was me. You can't prove it was me.
Anyway, I have these old photos, actually, but to look through thousands and thousands, literally what it is, of old photos on this phone, it's just impossible. So I got to get it directly onto the computer.
Yeah. So you do it via USB. If you'll note when you connect it, it will immediately pop up whatever you've got established to open pictures. Usually that will be the built-in Windows image previewer. There are other programs you can use. I actually recommend using Picasa. If you have Picasa on your Windows computer, that will pop up, and it will just copy the photos. It's very straightforward.
There's like, I got to just say, I mean, it's like 15,000.
Yeah, that's fine, and that's why you don't want to do it wirelessly. You want to use a USB cable, and it may take a few hours to copy, but don't wait.
Really, into Picasa? Huh. Okay.
Yeah, Picasa's good. Windows. I'm trying to remember what is the name of the program that launches on Windows just by default? I think it's image capture, but I can't remember. It just launches and it will copy them all to your hard drive. And I think that's a good idea. You know, an older iPhone, you're not going to use iCloud. You can't. It's a 3GS. It's pretty old. That's wonderful that you have all of those all of those files. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how to get them directly over. So you just say, just plug in the USB, and it will identify one of the programs?
Well, Windows, so here's what happens. First thing it'll say is, oh, it's a camera. Now, there are issues. If sometimes the iPhone will not identify as a camera, that's a USB issue, or maybe it will have to install drivers if it doesn't already have them. But all of that's, supposedly, and in my experience, very automatic. It'll say, oh, it's a camera. I see a camera. It doesn't see an iPhone. It sees a camera. And Windows has a default thing to do when it sees a camera that gives you a chance to copy the pictures. I don't remember what the default program is, but you can install other programs and say, hey, you be the camera program. And it'll be just in a folder, so you don't have to do that ahead of time. It'll just put it in a folder. It'll be a photos folder, and then you can copy those. You can edit those. You can add them to some other program. You can upload them. You can do anything you want with them. It's the Windows Image Viewer. Thank you. That's the name I was looking for.
Oh, great. And then similar system is there for all those old notes? Remember that yellow page that...
That's a little different. For that, unfortunately, you have to now install iTunes. You don't need iTunes to do the camera, but you do need iTunes to get document data over, because the iPhone, and I think this was probably a smart choice, but it is a little inconvenient. The iPhone doesn't have a files. It does have a file system, but it doesn't expose its file system as any other phone might to the computer. You can't just browse around in the iPhone. If you connect an Android device as a mass storage device to your computer, and you can then browse it, and you can say, here's the photos, let me copy them. Here's the music, let me copy them. Here's notes, let me copy them. iPhone, for security reasons, keeps everything associated with the app, like in this case, the Notes app, and hides it. And so what you need to do is you need to launch iTunes, and then you can look at apps in the iTunes interface and say, sync the Notes data over. But this is not, on Windows, a little bit less successful because you have to match it up to the program on the desktop and stuff. I'm going to paste into the chat room a Apple support document, HT201302, that explains the process and what to do if it doesn't work exactly as expected.
Oh, muchas gracias.
Yeah, okay. It's pretty straightforward. Unfortunately, I don't think on a 3GS you can get to iCloud. Which would make it very easy to sync up to the web, anything that's on, in the Notes app. So I think you have to do it directly connected to a computer via USB. The 3GS that's a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly.
But you do want to get everything off of there because...
Oh, I do.
Yeah. Is anybody still using that as a phone? No, probably not.
No, but it's got a lot of stuff on it.
It's
I just
history.
never got around to it.
Yeah, it's history. So
Yeah.
you don't want to lose it, and especially that streaker picture. You don't want to lose that. That could be valuable.
Oh, this is valuable. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get this one printed up, and we're gonna sell it in mass. Oh.
You can't see my face. There's nothing you can do with it. When you're 20, everybody looks the same from behind. Hey, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
Yeah, but this one we could put on a Photoshop of a tattoo.
Put a little tattoo on it, maybe. I didn't have any distinguishing marks at that age. Thank goodness. Thank you, Peter. Great to talk to you. Loretta in Berlin, Maryland. Hi, Loretta. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo.
Hello.
We are so in need of your advice.
Uh-oh.
So my husband has this Apple computer, and
Yeah, I love how you say, has this Apple computer.
well, when it was working.
Yeah,
So,
it's great when it was working.
exactly. And now it keeps getting this thing that when we Googled it, they called it the dreaded spinning wheel.
Yeah, there's another name for it, the beach ball of death.
Oh, it's awful.
So what that is when you see that beach ball, it means, and this is true of any computer. The computer is hung up doing something, and it's not going to let you continue to use the computer until it's done. And so the beach ball is OS X's way of saying I'm busy. And you see that on the Windows, it's an hourglass. It's not, every computer has to have this. You see it less now than you used to because computers are so darn fast. If you see it and it's there for a long time, something's holding the computer up. There's two possibilities. Okay. One, you may have is it always the same program?
No.
Okay. If you have a bad program, that could be one reason, but it would always be the same program or programs associated with it. The other reason, on an older computer, and by older I mean anything over a couple of years, hard drives start to fail.
Okay, his is 4 years.
Yeah. So most likely what's wrong with this is it's trying to read data off the hard drive and it can't. As it's reading the data, it normally puts up the beach ball, spins it, and usually a second later got the data and continues on. So it is probably, I would expect a hard drive problem. That's the most common problem among all computers because it's the moving part, right? Chips don't fail very fast, but anything that heats up or moves or spins like a hard drive. Now, what kind of Mac is it? Is it like an iMac? Is it an all-in-one? Is it a laptop?
It's a laptop.
It's a laptop.
And it's a MacBook Pro.
Yeah, so some of the MacBook Pros of that era, you can open up. I don't know if you can. So if there's little latches underneath where you could pull out the battery, the hard drive's under there. If that's the case, then it's an easy thing to replace the hard drive.
Oh.
And not very expensive. But what I would suggest is you go to macsales.com. That's Other World Computing, not a sponsor. I just like them because they're focused on Macintoshes. You can look up that model of MacBook exactly, and it'll show you how hard or easy it is to replace the hard drive. That would be something you could do yourself. A new hard drive for that machine would be under $100. It would not be an expensive thing.
That
now,
sounds good.
now all that data is on the old drive. So if you haven't been backing up, I would back up now before you do that.
Gotcha.
But you can always on any Mac reinstall the operating system, even if you don't have a disk lying around. So
we thought it was a virus.
no, first of all, it's very rare to get viruses on Macs. Very rare. It's one of the reasons I recommend Macs. It just doesn't happen.
Good to know.
Yeah, but no computer is immune from hard drives getting. It's not that it's failed. If it's failed, it wouldn't even boot up. It's getting flaky. Parts of it are not being read easily. It's happened to him twice, and it's very annoying because you can't easily remove the battery, so you have to let the battery run its course. It's okay. Oh, so it really freezes up. It froze. Yeah. See, that could be something even more serious. But first thing to look at is hard drive. You take it into an Apple store. They're going to charge you to look at it because it's out of warranty by now. Right. But they're pretty good about that kind of thing, and they'll let you know. It's hard for me to diagnose exactly what's wrong. It's not a virus. It's something wrong, most likely with a hard drive, because those are the things that fail the most commonly. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number. More of your calls to come. News at the top of the hour, and I'll be right back. Thanks. Lisa says, don't put my name on Jailbase. No, don't worry. Of course not.
Looks like she's a
First of all,
bad girl.
she's not. There's no. I was joking.
I'm going to see Billy Idol tomorrow night.
How fun.
I think it will be. He looks really cool, these days. And he has like a single on one of the local radio stations, et cetera. It's not bad.
Actually, it turns out Jailbase is probably a little scammy, to be honest with you. It's not. It's like it wants money now.
Because they're asking for money.
Yeah. Account needed to view report on Leo Gordon Laporte. Give me money. Yeah. I mean, there should be a way to, before you go out with somebody, there should be a way, like that you met on Tinder, there should be a way to verify. If you go to the Facebook page, that's probably the best thing to do. Just check and see if they're married would be a good start.
Ugh, the married thing, yeah.
Yeah. That's why I bring that up.
I don't think I've gone out with married men, but maybe.
Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, cell phones, home theater. Anything you've got on your mind, I'm here to do it. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number, 888-827-5536. Anywhere from the U.S. or Canada. And then, of course, you can use Skype out to reach us if you're outside that area. Our website is techguylabs.com. And when I talk about something like, how to get your pictures off your 3GS, we'll put links and information in the show notes there. techguylabs.com. So you don't really have to remember anything but that. That's where our chat room, there's a link to the chat room there. Every show's there, audio and video after the fact, so you can listen or watch, question by question, hour by hour, day by day, every show. So just make a note of that, techguylabs.com. There's no charge, no sign up. Will not ask you for a credit card, as jailbase.com did. That's all of these identity search sites do that, right? It's like a come on. Oh yeah, we found Leo Gordon Laporte. We found him. Yeah, we know a lot about him. Now give us some money. We'll tell you. That's a little frustrating. It does make you worry, though, doesn't it? If you've ever done that. And there are a number of sites that do this that's supposedly from public records. And what they've been doing, as I understand it, these sites, for instance, you buy a house. That's a public record. But it's on a piece of paper down at the courthouse, or at the county seat. The idea of it being a public record is, well, if somebody really cares, they'll go down to the courthouse and they'll look at the public records. And it's an involved process. But what these companies online have been doing, and I'm not going to name names because I don't want to promote these in any way. But what they do is they actually send people down and they get all this stuff and then they enter it in a database so it's online. And yes, it's a public record, so there's nobody can stop them doing that. But isn't there kind of a difference between something that's a public record that you have to go down to the county seat and go to the clerk and say, I'd like to look at the public records for this date or this name. And, it's quite a process versus, hey, it's online. Anybody can see it anywhere in the world. And yet I wonder if there's a solution to this. And so there are a great many sites. All of them, as far as I can tell, charge you. So they give you the come on. Like, oh, I'll tell you this much. But you really want to know the stuff you care about. You got to pay. It feels like a little bit of an invasion of privacy, doesn't it? And this is a case where, and we've talked about this before. I've said, well, if you really want to be private, don't go on the internet. But it turns out it's not you going on the internet that makes this public. It's you interacting with government, and the state or city or the local government puts this stuff out in public. But it was always like in the back of the newspaper or at the county court. It wasn't public, but it wasn't like on a billboard public. But nowadays with the internet, public is public. I don't know. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number. Terry in Long Beach, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Terry.
Hi, Leo. Congratulations on your marriage. I hope you and your Valentine have a long and happy marriage. My Valentine and I have been married for 42 years, and I can testify that married life gets better and better every year.
That's great. You found the right one.
Oh, yeah.
As have I now. Now, let me ask you, Terry, what's the secret to staying married for 42 years?
Saying yes, dear.
Yes, dear.
And loving it.
and meaning it. And meaning it.
It's a matter of finding the right one, and I don't think you can necessarily find them through these internet sites. I think you've got to get out there in the world and look for your significant other. You know, you've got to meet them face to face, and you know right away when you see them.
Yep.
Leo,
right.
I've got an iPhone i6, and I've heard a lot about jailbreaking, and I'd like to know what is jailbreaking, what are the pros and cons, and the how-tos.
Nothing but cons. Let me say that right up front. So the jailbreaking in the context of an iPhone, and really that's the only place we use that phrase, or we should use that phrase, jailbreaking, means one thing only. It means modifying the iPhone, usually using a security flaw in the iPhone. They have to find a way in. Modify it so that you can buy apps from people other than Apple.
Oh.
Period. That's all that it means. And there are stores like Cydia and others where once you've jailbroken the phone, you can go to this store and you can get an app. Now, the reason people would do it is that Apple prohibits certain kinds of apps. For instance, if you, at least in the past, if you wanted to attach your iPhone in such a way that you could see the output of the iPhone on a screen. In the past, now that we have AirPlay, you can do this. But before AirPlay, you had to jailbreak the phone and buy some special software on a site. Now, the issue is once you've done that, there's a couple of things that are problematic. You've modified the phone in such a way that it may not be secure anymore. That it may not be reliable anymore. Jailbreaking often can affect the reliability of the phone. And then if you go to these other app stores that are not regulated by Apple, you don't know what you're getting, and in some cases you're getting something that really is damaging or bad. So the people who jailbreak iPhone, in the past, jailbreaking an iPhone was the only way you could do some things that you really wanted to do, like tether the phone to use it as a internet access point, or to be able to view the phone's output on a big screen, things like that. Nowadays, I don't think that's so much of an issue. Apple has apps to do almost everything. There are very few things. In fact, I don't know if there are any things that you can't do on the iPhone that you want to do. Are there?
Yeah, I don't want to mess with success. By the way, I'm a retired IBMer. Now I'm a total convert to Apple.
You think?
Yeah. I've got a MacBook Pro that's fully configured with a terabyte of SSD. My iPhone 6 is 128 gigabytes.
It's amazing, isn't it? When you think about it, I mean, you've been around long enough to where a 5 megabyte Winchester drive was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Both in size, price, and capacity. 5 megabytes. Now you have 128 gigabytes in your pocket. It's mind-boggling. And so, yeah, don't mess with success. It is probably legal. Apple would love you not to jailbreak, and they'll say, well, that voids your warranty, which it does, I guess.
Yeah.
But they can't stop you from doing it. They make all sorts of cases. They would love to get a law passed. They make all sorts of cases like, well, it means your phone can now be used to exploit you and others, et cetera, et cetera. They don't want you to do it. And I think they're right. I don't think there's any reason to do it, but it is your right to do it. You own the phone. It's your hardware. It is your right, in my opinion, to jailbreak it. And as far as I know, there's no law against it.
Could I ask you one other question?
Yeah.
Do you know of any way of getting a discount on Lynda.com? Lynda.com?
Yeah. We have a little, I don't know if we have a discount. We have a free trial. They're an advertiser. They're a long-time advertiser.
Well, $250 a year is pretty pricey.
It is if you're a casual user, and maybe there's nothing you really need to learn. It's very cheap if you think about it. It's like $20 a month, right? If you need to learn something. So if you don't want to spend $20 a month, what I would recommend you check out is iTunes U.
Oh, yeah.
There are a million free courses on there, many of them from universities. Stanford, for instance, just put up it does this every year, its course on how to write software for iOS. It's an amazing course. You're getting a Stanford education for free. So for casual use, if you don't want to spend any money, start with iTunes U. Khan University is great. KAHN. That's free as well. There's of course YouTube. There's lots of videos. But for people who want to,
always on YouTube watching the tutorials.
you can learn almost anything. But for people who want something more organized, that's where Linda is a great solution. But I can understand why you wouldn't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
They're a sponsor, so I'm going to say I love them, but there's some other good choices. Thank you for the call, Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, it's cheaper than a community college class, so if you think of it that way.
I was noticing these on all the editors' desks.
I choose you.
This is what Ralph gives Lisa, you know, at a
Yeah.
Simpsons.
I choose you. Who put these? Every editor got these?
Yeah.
Aw, that's cute. I choose you. Yeah, if you play The Simpsons tapped out, you see that. Hi, your name here. Thanks for sticking with Twit PPS during the rough transition. It'll all be over soon. Like old Yeller. That's Alex Gumpel. What a sense of humor. So the Twit PPS is the new production system that we're putting in place. That's the replacement of the old Mac Pros with Final Cut, with new Dell Windows PCs with Premiere. And it's, you know, it's been a long and I'm sure painful for those who have to suffer with it, transition. So that's nice of him to do that. You should put a little Gumpel logo there.
Worldwide cake.
Worldwide cake.
Yeah.
Aw. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo. Mike's on the line from Mission Viejo, California. Hi, Mike.
Hello, Leo.
Hello, Mike.
Hey, thank you for being informative and entertaining.
Oh.
Especially during the off-air discussions.
Yeah, if you're stuck on hold, we try to keep you entertained during the during the breaks. And I think Heather and I probably get a little bit too intimate sometimes, but hey, that's okay. We talk about our lives.
I won't share all the comments. No.
Actually, you know, we do make a podcast that has all that stuff in it, so there's always an opportunity to find out.
Hey, Leo, here's my situation.
Yes.
At our work, probably like many people, we're on the computers all day long, lots of different software. And the training has always been one employee training another, which trains another. And, you know, people get moved around and they get different answers to the same question, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you ever play the game Telephone? How long before the original gets completely mutated in something completely incorrect? Yeah.
Yep. So, and you're using up valuable time of other employees to do training when they should be on the phone answering questions.
Right.
So what I want to do is computer base this, and I remember back with Adobe had a nice series on Go Live, where they had all these little video clips, so you could just pull them up, and that's what I want to do. So
Adobe actually has a great tool for this kind of stuff called Captivate.
Captivate? Okay.
Yeah, it's designed to build courseware. In fact, many of the things you probably saw on that Adobe site were, I would guess, created by Captivate. It does use Flash, which makes it a little bit outmoded, but nowadays people still have Flash on their computers. But it's designed for e-learning. So, and it's one of many, many choices, both free and, in this case, not. That will.
Well, my employer won't have a problem paying for it.
Yeah, well, Captivate is what a lot of businesses use. It's you know,
Windows 8 is what we're running right now.
Yep.
Okay.
I would at least go there. The monthly subscription is $30, so it's not outrageous. You can also buy it outright if you wish.
Okay.
And it's designed to. I don't know if do you need screens? Because it's really designed around screen capturing, things like that.
Right, that would be the thing. I'd be running the software and doing the voiceovers.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. There are lots of other ways to do it. Somebody in the chat room is suggesting something called Storyline. This is, as you might imagine, this kind of training software is very, very big. For this exact reason, actually, that you specified. Companies need a way to hand down this information in a way that's accurate We do videos here. We've done it much more informally as we train. We do training sessions and tape them so people can look at them again. Storyline looks pretty good. Interactive e-learning. It'll work on a tablet as well as a desktop. It's similar in the sense that it's screen capture, you know, kind of slideshow, interactive. So you want something that you can quiz people at the end of each module, see if they really got it. This one looks pretty cool too, and somebody in the chat room suggested it. Screencast-O-Matic. Storylines from a company called Articulate. I think Adobe, you know, I wonder how long Adobe wants to continue with Captivate because it does need Flash. Somebody in the chat room says, I've used both Storyline and Captivate, and Storyline is better. So I'm going to take their word for it. Captivate I'm familiar with because it's from one of the biggest companies in the business. But Storyline...
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be... Because we do this, put this up on our internet, and I don't know if they run Flash on that or not. I'll have to check.
Yeah, I mean, Storyline's not cheap. It's $1,400, but you own it.
Yeah.
So it's more expensive than Captivate, and Adobe's moving to that subscription plan, which might be easier to swallow, might not. Some businesses would prefer to buy something outright.
Well, I know I do personally.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat room suggesting Camtasia, which is less of a online learning system as a screen capture system, but it might have the features you need. That's from a company called TechSmith.
Yeah, I had seen that. It's tough when you go to just surf because, you know, everybody recommends, oh, yeah, this is the best.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is the best.
The best one is the one you've spent a lot of time learning, and now it's your best because you're not going to learn something else. Screencast-O-Matic is a free solution, although it's kind of freemium. They have a pro solution as well. That is very straightforward. It's just a screen recording thing. Now, the free solution will limit you to 15 minutes. But you pay $15 a year, and then you can do anything you want. And it does not require Flash, which is nice.
Yeah, well, this would be like what I remember back from, like I mentioned, that Go Live tutorials. It was like, you know, it's full screen, 5 frames a second, because and it's still kind of small files because all you're recording really is,
right.
You know, the file size is the moving cursor, and then you're filling in the text box.
Right.
You know.
I would guess that any solution that is up to date, and I presume Captivate as well, would have a way now, because you don't need Flash anymore. You can publish it. In fact, interestingly enough, YouTube no longer uses Flash for any of its videos. They're using built-in HTML5 video casting capabilities, and almost all modern browsers will support that. That's probably something you should look for. That way, you could put the content online. Anybody, anywhere, you know, with the password or whatever, could log in and use it on their system without a lot of effort. So I think you know, Captivate, Storyline, Screencast-O-Matic, these are all pretty good, Camtasia, pretty good solutions that are specifically designed for you to create courseware from screen capture and your voice. Sometimes you can embed your picture too, which I like to do because it makes it a little more personal, a little less automated.
Okay. And then recommendations as far as microphones go?
Well, it depends how good you want it to sound, but I think any headset microphone. We use Plantronics USB microphones, the Dot Audio line. Those give you a good result. You have to position the mic carefully so you don't get heavy breathing in there. But the kinds of microphones used for Skype are a great start for sure. There are lots of choices. The AT2020 from Audio-Technica is excellent. That's a USB microphone that you could put on a little stand. I like the headset mics because then you can use it for Skype and other stuff. This is the Plantronics Audio 655 is the one that we send out to our correspondents. So, you know, people like Scott Wilkinson, and actually people like Scott and Chris Marquardt, who appear on the show regularly, we'll give them something a little more pro. We'll give them a pro radio mic with a USB interface so that they can talk into Skype using the kinds of mics I use in the studio. That sounds the best, but that's going to cost a little more. You say your company's paying for it, then I would say go ahead, go out and get the Heil PR40 mics. Those aren't too expensive. This is what I'm using right now. It's a good voice mic, and it's about $300. And then what do we use nowadays, John, for the USB interface for the Heils?
Focusrite Scarlett.
The Focusrite Scarlett, which is something that will take a microphone, standard traditional microphone output, which is an XLR jack, and turn it into USB so you can plug it into the computer. All of these programs like Captivate will expect audio through the USB port. You probably want to get an arm or a stand for it because you don't want to just have to hold it. But all told, we're talking maybe $500 or $600 for the complete, audio kit. That's going to give you this quality audio, which is, it's good enough for broadcasts. 8888 Ask Leo. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Oh. For $370, you can go to BSW USA.
You get the arm,
get a whole Heil kit. That's good.
So
you get the arm, the spider. Is that what we send out?
Yeah, PR40. Just put PR40 and you'll see the kit.
Oh, neato.
And it's a good deal because you get these are like 60. The pop filter is like $60. The very first thing is the kit.
So there's a Heil Sound PR40 package. See, they're smart. I see they have a podcaster package, but this is exactly what you need. Right. Oh, it doesn't include the USB interface, though. So you're going to add. So that's $369. That's practical. That's like the mic plus everything you need, including the pop filter, the arm, the cable, and then you'll just get the Scarlett, and you're good.
Called the Scarlett Single that only has one XLR connector. We used to send out the
doubles
2x2s for $150, but now they have a single, which is appropriate for what we send out.
Is it 2 T's?
I get
it is. Focusrite Scarlett. Well, let's just show them.
I don't know if they have the single yet.
Yeah.
The single's new.
Single's new.
The first thing.
This is what $150 for and this is what we call a USB interface. So it also has headphones, which is nice.
So you can hear yourself.
So you can hear yourself directly.
And they have a new one.
So you need this if you're going to take a pro mic and connect it up.
$99 called the Scarlett Single.
$99 a Scarlett Single. That's nice.
Yeah.
Amazon has them.
Yeah.
He's here, Johnny Jet. He comes in every week on that big old jet airliner to give us the latest information on using technology to travel better. Hello, Johnny.
Hello, Leo.
JohnnyJet.com, at JohnnyJet on the Twitter. Do you use Facebook much, John?
I do. I use it a lot. I have a personal page and a fan page.
Johnny Jet personality page.
Well, actually, I think my friend's page, which actually have followers on there, gets more traction than the fan page because you have to pay to boost usually on the fan page, and I refuse to boost.
I won't do that. No, nope, me neither. So, John, what are you up to these days? You're up in Toronto, where it is 8 degrees below zero.
I think today is a little bit above, but yesterday was cold. Tomorrow's gonna be even colder, and I'm fighting a cold, as you can probably tell in my voice.
We got, you should come visit us. It's about almost 80 degrees here in Petaluma.
I know. I'm seeing all my friends' photos. It kills me, but you know what? The good news is I'm getting a lot of work done.
Good.
And
because you have to stay inside.
Yes, I'm cleaning out my inbox, and I've been finding all kinds of great airfares. By the way, I don't know if you heard this week, but United made the news because they had a glitch in one of their systems, and they were selling business class tickets from Europe to the U.S. round trip for $85.
Oh,
they did not honor them, which I agree with them. But everyone's now some people are trying to fight them.
Oh, so you could have bought the ticket, but then they'd say, well, sorry, that was a glitch. We don't really give you round-trip airfare to Europe for $85.
Well, the thing was you're supposed to put in Danish kroners and that you were supposed to be coming from Denmark, and everyone from the U.S. were buying one-way tickets from there. So it was all fraud. I actually agree with United on this one, but I mentioned last week American Airlines has been selling these fares for $1, and they still are, which I cannot believe. But from New York and L.A., you can go to London, you can go to Copenhagen via London for $325 one way.
And that's just taxes and fuel surcharge. That's not
basically. It's $1 fare. And actually, I just looked for San Francisco. You can go from San Francisco is $425.
Surely they know about it. This is not a glitch at this point.
No, this is not a glitch. They're going to honor this without.
But I don't understand why.
I guess they're competing with Norwegian because Norwegian has very cheap fares, and you can actually get a return trip with Norwegian for even less.
Yeah, but
this way you get your American miles.
It's $1. They're not making any money.
Oh, they're losing money.
They're losing money.
It's mind-boggling. I cannot believe they're still available. Every day I reserve tickets because I can't decide which day I want to go and if I really do want to do it. Wow. So I have 2 tickets on hold right now.
So that's tip number 1 is subscribe to Johnny's newsletter at johnnyjet.com. It's free. And that's the kind of information you're going to get. It's like when these amazing fare deals happen. You usually have a website or an app for us. You got something?
I do. So I have an app for you. It actually is a website as well. So bestparking.com.
Best.
Do you ever use this?
I don't. What is it?
Okay, so it has 105 different cities, 115 airports. It will tell you the most convenient and cheapest places to park. It'll tell you, the hours, all the fees.
Do you? So this is
numbers.
a good question in general. Is it always better to use the airport's own long-term parking, or should you use a third party?
I usually use a third party, but actually, I live so close to the airport, I don't even park at the airport anymore.
You walk?
No, I walked home once from LAX.
You did, really?
It was 4 miles, and I won't do that again.
No,
but I did. But now I can take an Uber, and it's literally $10, $11.
Wow.
Or a taxi's $26.
This actually isn't just airport parking; it's parking everywhere.
No, it's 115 airports in 105 different cities.
Wow, because I'm seeing like parking rates in San Francisco.
Exactly. So you put in San Francisco, it'll show you exactly which one is the cheapest one for you to park. So if you ever have an event in the city to go to, now you know where to park for cheap. And
the SF Park at St. Mary's Square Garage on Pine in California is $6 an hour. That's the cheapest in San Francisco.
That's really
pretty good.
That's really good.
Did you know about this, Heather? This is great.
I do need that. $6 an hour. That's such a bargain.
I know, and it's centralbestparking.com. And they have apps. They have iPhone and iPad apps, Android apps.
Yep. They have over 850,000 monthly users.
They have a BlackBerry 10 app. Wow. Okay, Best Parking.
So I just downloaded it on my phone.
So wherever you are, just see what's the cheapest parking. They don't rate the garages. They just say where it's cheap.
They don't rate them, but I think they have a user-generated part where you can rate them.
Good. So you can read the reviews.
I'm not positive on that. I know that if they have a place that's more expensive and you find a cheaper place, they'll give you a $5 Starbucks gift card.
Wow.
To a user who reports inaccurate information.
What's the business model on this? This is great.
I have
no idea. This is
great.
Maybe. Who cares? Let's not think about that. Let's not think about how they plan to make money on that.
I'm glad you never heard of it. I'm glad you like it.
Bestparking.com.
And I got a website for you, this is also a website and an app. Actually, it's more of a website, so it's nameshouts.com.
Name Shouts.
Shouts. SHOUTS.
Now, what could that? I'm going to try to guess what that could be without going to the site. Name Shouts. I have no idea. What could that be? It has something to do with travel?
It sure does. So it will tell you how to properly pronounce someone's name. And they have 14,000 different names listed in 14 different languages.
So
if you're ever traveling somewhere and you can't figure out, how to pronounce this person's name, you type it in advance, and then it will. And you even has a slow mode, so it will really slow down the pronunciation.
And you can have it pronounced by native speakers. This, from now on, every journalist should have. Ahmadinejad, it would be so great to have this. Every journalist should use this. They probably already know about it. Nameshouts.com.
And I tweeted them to you, so you will have them.
Let me just see. I'm going to type in Chef Boyardee.
Chef Boyardee.
Because I never know how to say Chef Boyardee in English. Because, it's obviously, no, I don't know.
You put Italian in.
Look, in Italian. How do you say it? How do you say Chef Boyardee?
And if it's not in there, it'll say, how about someone else?
It says chef is not available. Do you mean?
How about does it say?
Kromaski? Do you mean Kromaski? Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kromaski, sure. Wow.
But you can just click Kromaski and then you can listen to it.
Yeah, at least I'll know. I'll see. Let's see how close I came. I say it's Kromaski. Here's what they say. Kremaski. That's close enough. Kromaski was close enough. I'm pretty good at that. I seem to have an aptitude for pronouncing names, maybe from years of taking calls on the radio. I don't know.
That's why you're a radio DJ.
Yeah.
I would never make it. I mispronounce everyone's name, including my wife's.
All right, chat room. Give me a difficult to pronounce name. Let's see. How about tennis? Tennis is full of stars that no one knows how to pronounce their names. So let me find, and usually it's the women are harder than the men. So how about
Sharapova?
Yeah. Some of these. How about okay? She's Croatian. I'm gonna say
Wozniak.
Sanja, and I don't know how you pronounce this. Let's try it out.
But I don't think that they have Croatian listed. I don't think they have Croatian.
Well, I get something close. Maybe I don't know, Serb. I don't know. What do they got?
You have to.
Has to be one of their languages. Well, I could find out how to pronounce her name.
They have
in
Russian.
Chinese.
They have Russian. So get a Russian.
Yeah, we'll go with
tennis
Russian. Let's see. Search. Let's see. Search for Russian. Oh, you got to tell them what language. So that's how you pronounce it in that language. What you want to know is how do I pronounce it in American?
No, because usually you're going to these places. You want it in their
Oh, I see. You want to say it right. I don't think names don't have number scores under or dashes usually.
They really need it for Thailand.
Yeah.
Thai has some difficult names.
Difficult.
And then if you ever go to Thailand, you'll notice that they all have English. They made up English names like shampoo.
Because they
or
know.
golf.
They know. They know you can't pronounce it, so why
or
try?
Apple. I have a bunch of friends named Apple. From
Apple,
Thailand.
really?
Yeah.
Johnny Jet. It's pronounced Johnny Jet at johnnyjet.com. Check him out. He's great, and he joins us every week. Thanks, Johnny. Safe travels.
Thank you.
Leo
Take care.
Laporte, the tech guy. They need more names.
They said they have 14,000 according to their website.
Well, there's 7 billion people in the world.
Put your
Well, they
name
only have
on
14.
you.
They only
Oh,
have
you think?
14.
How do I say my name? Actually, that's good. Let's see
That's
that.
a good question, right?
Let's see. I don't know. I'll spell it right. Oops. Oops. Let's see. And that's in French. How's Natalie doing? Is she getting the cold too?
No, she's hanging tough. But next week, can I go an hour later? I land at 12:30.
No sweat.
I land at 12:30.
Yep. Here's my name in French.
Léo Laporte.
Oh, it's so
vraiment.
That's
Nice.
Léo.
That's a good one.
Léo Laporte.
Laporte.
That's how you should start the next segment.
Léo Laporte is a felon who has been arrested 32 times.
Léo Laporte.
Isn't she lovely? Happy Valentine's Day, Lisa. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Corinne is next in Los Angeles. Hello, Corinne. Leo Laporte.
Hey, Leo. Happy Valentine's Day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. And just FYI that I've met my sweetheart 3 weeks ago on OkCupid.
How exciting. A new romance.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Good time of year to have a new romance, Valentine's Day and all.
It's always a good time.
It's always a good time. We meet a lot of people. You know, we have an open studio. We do a lot of shows here. And a lot of couples that I meet these days have met online. I think it is probably more common than not.
I think so, too.
Yeah, and there should not be a stigma at all of that. I think it's great.
I do, too.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions. At least we'll get through the first one. I have an iPad mini, an older one. It's before the Retina display. And I've been using for a while this one particular app using AirPlay to my TV via Apple TV.
Yeah.
And now I upgraded, and that was through iOS 7, and now I upgraded to iOS 8, and now I don't see my living room TV on it. And I have a new iPhone 6 Plus, which I love, and I can AirPlay and do it.
Oh, interesting.
With that, but not with my iPad. So I was just wondering, do you think this might be something with iOS 8 on the older iPad mini?
Let me look here. I'm seeing on the Apple support sites, iPad 2, which is the equivalent of your old mini, mirroring not working after iOS update. And then some people say, I have it working on mine, but it's a little difficult. There's no option button to select mirroring. I see. You know what? I get now.
I get the icon. I get the AirPlay icon.
It just doesn't show your TV.
It just says, it just says my iPad. It doesn't give me my living room TV to select like it used to all the time.
Apparently, one thing is to make sure you've got the latest update for your Apple TV, which is what you're using for this AirPlay.
Ooh, that one I probably don't.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah. It seems to be, you know, what Apple did say when they first released the Apple TV, this is iOS. But they haven't really, but it doesn't look like it's iOS. It is. So I'm not surprised if you are iOS 8 on one device. Of course, it works with your iPhone, which is iOS 8. I would try updating it. That'd be the first thing. Somebody in the chat room, Becky, says you have to scroll further in the menu to see it. It sounds like it's one of those things that's a little odd, that it may not be as easy, but it does work. People are doing it.
Well, Becky's right.
Oh, it was down there. It was hidden.
It was just hidden. Yeah.
You don't know. You know what? You can't. I don't blame. No, don't blame yourself. It's not your fault. That's the motto of the show. Here's why it's not your fault. There's no scroll bar there. You don't know that you can scroll that menu. It's not obvious that you could scroll it. Just try it. Oh, look, there it is. It appeared. Becky rocks. Thank you, Becky.
Yes, thank you.
That's why we have the chat room. Thank you so much.
The second, yes, thank you. Second question is on my new, I said I had the iPhone 6 Plus.
Yes.
And the contacts, when Verizon updated the contacts for me, I have like 4 or 5 of each person.
Oh.
Is there any way to consolidate easily, or do I have to go through each one? And
No, there are. Do you have a Mac?
I do.
Yeah, you can go into your contacts application on the Mac and consolidate those, merge duplicates.
Merge duplicates.
Yeah, and you can boil it down. This is not unusual. It's probably because when you got the new phone, did the Verizon store add your contacts?
Yes.
Yeah. So you didn't need to do that because you're syncing contacts. So what they did is they added duplicates in. But but you can absolutely cure that, and I think the easiest way is to do it on the desktop with a contacts application.
I will do that. You are the best.
Thanks for calling. I'm glad we could solve that problem with a little magic. Oh yeah, it's there. Just scroll down a little bit. Thank you, Becky.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, Corinne. Thank you for listening. Moving on. Well, I don't want to go there because I just see a number. Did you? Who is that? I'm on line 3. Should I put that on hold?
No, you want to talk to Mark.
Mark. Hi, Mark. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Nope, that's line. Okay, I don't know the magic of this system. There we go. Here's Mark. Hi, Mark. No. There's Mark. Hi, Mark.
You sure this time?
This time. It's Altoona, PA, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Leo, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
I've got a 2 terabyte hard drive and a 1.5 terabyte hard drive. And between them, I got about 300,000 songs.
Whoa. There aren't 300,000 songs in the world. You have 300,000 songs?
Yeah, it's music and videos and
wow. Are you a hoarder?
No, I'm a DJ.
Oh, you're a DJ. Well, that makes sense then. So this is professional.
Yeah, is there any software out there that would actually go through a hard drive to remove any corrupted files or broken files? Like some of the karaoke files don't work.
Yeah. Oy. Are you a Windows or Mac?
Windows 7.
I always recommend Media Monkey. It has some very nice tagging. It's a really good music manager, and it's free to try. I don't know, and it'll handle 300,000 songs. That's not a question. Whether it will then dedupe and verify. You know what you probably want to do with it is put it in the turn on the organizer and have it reorganize your folders. Okay. And the real issue is if there's a file there, but it's a corrupted file, I don't think anything's going to know that unless you actually play it. But if there's no file, like there's missing files, but it's in your database, things like that, Media Monkey is great. It'll fix it. So I try that for sure. That's a good way to start, and it's very capable. It's freemium, so they have a free version, and then it may be for the stuff you want to do that you want to pay for the gold, but it's only $50 for the gold.
Yeah, okay.
But I would try the free version, see what it does, if it does what you need. I think it's more like updates, free updates if you pay for it. But we love that. Anything else, chat room, that you think is useful? Oh yeah, and then good advice from PC Guy 8088. Before you start messing around with the music, you should do this anyway, I'm sure. Back it up. So you're going to need to go over to the big box store or your local electronics store and buy a giant hard drive, probably a 3 or 4 terabyte hard drive, and just move everything onto that. Then mess with it. This is your profession. This is your work. You don't want to delete those songs. Imagine what it would be to replace them. On the other hand, it's not at all unusual to have a situation where, in fact, I think anybody who's got a decent-sized digital music collection has duplicates. I know I do, or misnamed files, or albums are broken up. Some of, I'll open iTunes and I'll see the same album 3 times, and one song's in one album, 2 songs in the other, the rest of the songs in the third. Things like that. Media Monkey does a very good job of cleaning up. iTunes does not. iTunes is not great for that kind of stuff. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Website where we put all this information and links and details, and where you can add stuff, by the way. I want to make sure that you understand that's the best part of the website. That's techguylabs.com. You can go to this show, you can go to any hour, any question of any show, watch the video and audio after the fact, but you can also comment. And so if you've got for instance, this would be a good case, if you've got a music manager that you use, if you're a DJ and you have a great way of kind of getting rid of duplicates and managing your music, please put that in the comments. We really appreciate that. There's also, and something you can do even if you don't have something to add, there's also vote up, vote down a comment. Kind of like on Reddit. And that's helpful too, because if you vote up comments that you agree with and vote down comments that you disagree with, then the best stuff rises to the top. And most importantly, this is free and will always be free. Free forever. No charge. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to get a newsletter. We won't spam you or anything like that. It's just a wide open website. Again, that address, techguylabs.com. Cop King in our chat room says, number 1 tip, don't wait till you get to 300,000 songs before you try to fix it. Yeah, but sometimes that happens. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More calls right after this. A DJ from Ottawa recommends Mixed in Key. And you use that to manage your songs, Ayana, our man. Our show today brought to you by Gazelle. Hey, speaking of gadgets, new phones, new tablets, you know where to go with your old stuff, right? Gazelle.com. Gazelle is the best place to go to sell your old stuff. If you're throwing old gadgets, and I confess I do this in a drawer, it's like throwing $100 bills in the drawer and just letting them collect dust. You don't want to do that. You can get real money, real cash on the barrelhead for your gadgets at Gazelle, Gazelle.com. When you go to Gazelle.com and you get a quote, it's guaranteed for 30 days, which is nice. You don't actually have to take advantage of it until 30 days in. That's sweet. You can sell cell phones, tablets, computers, Apple computers, iPods. And it's nice because the offer is guaranteed. The shipping is free on anything worth $1 or more. And you'll get paid fast. You can get a check. You can get PayPal if you want to get paid right away. Or you can get an Amazon gift card. The nice thing about that, if you shop a lot on Amazon, is you'll get an additional 5%. They bump it up. Gazelle has paid out now $175 million to over 1 million customers, 2 million trade-ins. Actually, now it's $200 million they've paid out. Wow. Really a great experience. Gazelle's added something else. You might say, what happens to those old gadgets? Well, they take the very best of the best, and they sell them to people who want them through Gazelle's Certified Pre-Owned program. There are 2 conditions you can get, certified like new and certified good. Like new is, well, like new. Somebody didn't really use it before they sold it to Gazelle. Certified good is like, let me show some slight signs of wear. It's not going to be bad. In fact, if you lose your phone, it's probably going to be better than the phone you lost. And it's a great way to save a little extra money, get a great device at a great price. Of course, all devices have been put through a rigorous 30-point inspection. So they're fully functional. You have 30 days to return it risk-free. I think this is great. And they're, of course, unlocked, no contracts, no strings. Gazelle Certified Pre-Owned and sell on Gazelle. This is great. Gazelle. You got to keep this in mind. Write it down. Don't waste that old stuff. Sell it to somebody who wants it. Gazelle.com. Hey, 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 how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, cell phones, home theater, MP3 players, and all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. 888-827-5536. That's toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. It's Valentine's Day. And you know, it's funny, you know, everybody, this is the traditional candy on Valentine's Day are these sweethearts, the conversation hearts, you know, they say things on them. And I was just doing some research, and I did not realize this, but they've been around for 100 years. 100 years. Necco, makers of Necco wafers. These are basically Necco wafers in a heart shape, aren't they? Makes them. And since the Civil War, they've been making these things. So they had a contest, 145 years. They had a contest in 2010 to add new sayings. They periodically take the old sayings out. For instance, dig me. Dig me. That was probably big in the 60s, but no one knows these days. It sounds like you're a grave digger. They used to, I mean, remember, 145 years, in the 20s they had one that said, you are gay. But in the 20s, that meant you're happy-go-lucky. I think if you give somebody a heart that says you are gay today, it has a different meaning. Not necessarily a bad meaning, but it's a different meaning. So they've taken that one out of circulation, as well as dig me. But they did add some new ones in 2010, including tweet me, text me, and then some that weren't so computer literate, like you rock, soulmate, love bug. I'm looking, though, at our hearts right here, and they have some, what they also have, this is LOL. So that's computer speak, right? LOL. Bling. One says bling.
You asked for bling, honey.
Bling.
Here you go.
That's definitely modern. I don't think bling was the thing in 1922 or 1845. I don't know what bling means. Here's peace. This is leftover from the 70s or 60s. Let's kiss. That's like kind of traditional. And be mine. Remember that?
The new one would be bae, right?
Bae. Oh, they should do bae. B-A-E, right?
Bae.
That's what the kids call their honeys.
Next year, it'll be too late.
Have you ever used the phrase bae, the word bae? No.
I don't think I've ever said it out loud until just now.
Sometimes Lisa calls me boo.
Boo's a thing?
Boo's a thing, right? Mm-hmm. Here's one that says, see you, the letter C, the letter U soon. See, I think that's text speak, right? Text message speak. See you soon.
But the hearts did it first, because they had to fit it all on that little heart.
That's right. It's perfect for hearts, isn't it? What was the one we thought they should have swipe right? Mm-hmm. Because of Tinder.
That's next year.
Next year they should add swipe right. I think that'd be hip.
PM me, DM me.
DM me. There you go. That doesn't mean dungeon master.
Ooh.
Well, in most cases. It means direct message. It's a Twitter thing, right?
Yes, please, Mr. Gray.
How about this one? I don't even know what this means. LYMY. Love you, miss you? Must be love you, miss you.
Makes sense.
See, that's text messaging. LYMY. Huh. They should have YOLO.
Sure.
Sure, why not?
Go out with me, because, hey, you only live once.
You only live once. YOLO. I've now, by the way, ruined these. No one's ever going to want to have them because I've been pawing through them.
Measles, bubonic, Ebola.
You know, I think, I believe that the coating on conversation hearts is antibacterial, so I think it's safe.
For sure. You're cleaner than you ever were now pawing through those.
This is a great article on Info, Please. It says, some favorites among the more than 100 sweetheart sayings have been in circulation since the hearts were first factory made in 1902.
That is blowing me away.
1902. Kiss me, sweet talk, be mine. Those have always been there.
Be mine's the classic.
Be mine. Necco says, creating mottos can be tricky. You can't be offensive, distasteful, or too wordy. Space is an issue. Conversation hearts come in two sizes, 1/2 inch or the larger 3/4 inch model.
Oh, and those are much more delicious, by the way.
Are they?
The bigger, the better, yeah. But that's funny. If you think a tweet's short, 140 characters, think about what they have to get on this teeny little heart that's the size of, like, maybe your big back tooth.
Number one fan was added in 2005.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. ILU. was added in 2006. 2009, Candy Hearts added Top Chef, Sugar Pie, Honey Bun, Spice It Up, and Yum Yum. I think they were kind of hungry that year when they forgot to give them lunch when they were the meeting to add more things. In 2008, they added Melt My Heart in a Fog, Chill Out, Cloud 9, all weather stuff. Heat Wave, Sunshine. So quite a history of those Candy Hearts. So does BAE stand for, BAE stand for before anyone else? Is that what it stands for, or is it just...
You know, I think this assignation was made after it was used
There's a word for
as
that.
A short for babe, but now
that's what I think. BAE is short for babe. Is it? I for some reason I think of Jay-Z, and is it JC or Jay-Z?
Jay-Z.
It's Jay-Z and BAE, Beyonce, that he must have called her BAE.
It could be. I think it's Pharrell Williams that has a song,
Bae?
something Bae. Maybe he's secretly in love with Beyonce.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. BAE, B-A-E. They don't. That's not yet on a heart. I think next year we're going to have to write to the NECO folks. Next year we want BAE and Swipe Right. I'm telling you, Swipe Right. Is that too big?
It's getting there. It could go on the bigger one. NECO, if you're listening, we want H-bomb on a heart.
H-bomb is completely legitimate. That would be, boy, or Leo. But why would they put Leo? They wouldn't put Leo.
Come on, guys, do it.
BAE, B-A-E, I don't think stands for before all else, but maybe. That's what they call a retronym, where you have, that's an acronym, right, where the initials stand for something. But if you figure it out after the fact, that's a retronym. You figure it was the initials were added later. Bling is old, as somebody in the chat room says. That comes from the 30s. Really? We're learning a lot here. Nothing to do with technology, but it is Valentine's Day. I'm trying to get, I'm trying to be topical. Bruce, Huntington Beach, Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Leo, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, great.
I believe so. Wait a minute. Let me pinch myself. Yes, I am. I'm here.
All right. Well, I'm of the Dig Me era.
Me too. You and I both.
I've used an iPad, and I've also used an Android tablet.
Okay.
I'm not happy with either one of them.
Okay.
What I'm thinking is going over to a Windows tablet. I'm not familiar with it at all.
What is your, well, it would really come down to what your source of unhappiness is. What is it you don't like about the iPad and Android?
The main reason that I didn't like the Android or the iPad was I could not run ACT or any other Windows-based programs.
Are you listening to the good, the bad, and the ugly?
That's my ringtone.
That's a great ringtone. I want that ringtone.
I get comments on that all the time.
That's great. I'm sorry. I got distracted by the ringtone. What is it about the iPad you don't like?
All right. The main reason I want to use it for business, and I want to run ACT specifically.
Get a Windows tablet. Absolutely. Get a Windows tablet. Absolutely. And there are many choices. Of course, the best known is Microsoft's own Surface. The Surface Pro 3 has some strong features. It's got everybody agrees, the best screen. By the way, these are all touch, just like the iPad and the Android, but they're running a full version of Windows.
Well, my question is this. I've got a big credit available from Dell, and that might influence my decision. I run, when I travel on business, I carry a MacBook Air. So, but I want something else, so I have a lightweight device when I travel.
You know what we really like, and it's very small, is the Dell Venue 8.
That's the one I'm looking at.
It's cheap, $399. It runs a full version of Windows, 8.4 inches, very high-res display. Paul Thurrott, who is my Windows expert, he runs a super site, Thurrott.com, loves it. Highly recommended. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. David Bix is recommending the Winbook. I don't know if I'd get a Winbook. He says they're going crazy at slick deals on the Micro Center Winbook. $59. I just saw the price. $59. It is a 7-inch 1280 by 800 display with a Bay Trail processor, Giga RAM, Windows 8.1. Isn't that amazing? Wow. So, of course, this comes from the fact that Microsoft does not charge for Windows on devices with 8-inch or less screens. So they don't have to pay for Windows. Reviews seem very positive. Winbook's been around for a long time, but boy, $59. Oh, and this Microsoft Office with Bing includes Office 365 for a year, which is another great part of this. Wow. Regatta has one, huh? Wow. At that point, it's almost like they're giving it away. And I should mention that if you get the Venue 8 or this or any Windows tablet, you can get a Bluetooth keyboard and Bluetooth mouse, and it will work just like a desktop. Just really, really small. Now, this must be an extremely small person that they're in this picture, because that makes it look quite big. That makes it look awfully big. Oh, it is. This is not that. This is a different tablet. Yeah, this isn't that big. Don't get fooled. Wow. So Regatta likes it, huh? It's a 7-inch display. It's pretty small. It's smaller than, that's Retina size. $50 from Micro Center. Should I just order one? I mean, why not? That's kind of impulse purchase, huh? You can use an SD card with it. That's nice. All right, I'm not going to show you my credit card, but yeah, I'll get one. Well, why not get one and then I can review it? $59. That's pretty amazing. Oh, it's $69 on Amazon with Prime. All right, let's go to Amazon. You know what? That's a better deal. I buy it with Amazon whenever I can. Wow. That is amazing. That is amazing. I guess this was Windows. This is the Micro Center one. That's funny. It's the same one. The sweetest thing. I just Mike B in our chat room says, you can customize a sweetheart at mynecco.com. Too late to get it for Valentine's Day, but we could make one that says swipe right. And get it in a little heart box. Let me see if it'll fit. You could have your candy type. You can, all right, you have to select your message. Select candy. I want a heart. I want a heart. All right, that's the sweethearts. And what color? I guess pink, right? Sure, you should get it in pink. All right, is this edible? Or is it, yeah? Let's see, SWIPE. Right. Yeah, it works. What else? What other things should we... Oh, you wanted H-bomb.
And then we'll have one that just says twit.
And then...
The tech guy.
Twit. Oh, how about... Can I fit the tech guy loves you? Yes. Tech guy loves you. Wow. Okay.
Look at you go.
Custom messaging. What? H-bomb be mine. Right? We got room.
Ta-da.
Ta-da. Now I'm going to order some hearts. I wonder how much for 3 hearts. Oh, wait a minute. You get a whole bag. 450 of them. A 1-pound bag for $35.
Ta-da.
All right. I'll have them for next year.
Yeah.
Please select a quantity. You can get a 5-pound bag for $150. I think a pound of sweethearts is plenty.
The more the better. I want them raining down on us.
H-bomb loves you. Wow. Also, as long as we're talking about merchandise, this is something our last caller was looking for. A Windows tablet. Mentioned the Dell Venue, which is, by all accounts, a great tablet. And somebody in the chat room said, you ought to take a look at the WinBook TW700, $59 at Micro Center. Wait a minute. $59. It includes a year of Office 365 for free. That by itself costs more than $59. And, of course, Windows 8.1. Now, it only has a gigabyte of RAM. It's not a super power, and it's only 7 inches, but my goodness gracious. Full Windows with a full-size USB port. It's an IPS display, which is pretty good LCD. I had to order one, and I'll have a report for you when I get it. $59 on Micro Center. Amazon has it for $69 with free delivery. That is incredible. That is incredible. And this comes from the fact that Microsoft now gives away Windows for anything less than 8 inches. So the cost for the operating system was free. So, that's to compete with Android, frankly, which is also free. You can put an SD card, a micro SD card in it to add to the storage. So I would guess, they make micro SD cards up to 128 gigs. I don't know if it'll support it. I'll try it and let you know. Wow. Wow. A radio dude in the chat room says it's great. It's got a good excellent microphone, very nice audio, full-size USB port, mini HDMI out. You can plug in a keyboard and charge it at the same time because it has micro USB and a full-size USB. That's a good point. If you had a USB hub, you could put a mouse and keyboard on that thing. Wow. Very interesting. 8888 asks Leo. Daniel is next in LK Forest. I would guess that's Lake Forest County. We're doing everything now in Sweetheart Talk. Lake Forest County, California. Hi, Daniel. Welcome.
How you doing, Leo? Thanks for being available.
I am.
Question for you.
Yes.
I have a Samsung 8.4-inch Tab 4 tablet, and I also have computers at home. And there's some things on YouTube that I'd like to be able to view without accessing Wi-Fi, which I can't do on a Metrolink train. And I'm wondering if there's a way to convert the YouTube video to be able to be stored on the Android tablet so that I could look at it without having a Wi-Fi connection.
There used to be, you're not supposed to, right? YouTube, the whole idea is YouTube is you're streaming it live.
Okay.
There used to be, and I don't know if it'll still work, but there used to be a number of sites that would do this, like TubeSock, I think it was called. TubeSock and TubeSock Pro. I wonder if they still work because YouTube has now stopped using Flash and is using HTML5. You can try it for 30 seconds and see. It comes from the poorly named website Stinkbot. S-T-I-N-K. Easy to remember. This is a lot of people use this, very well known. This is a download. There are websites that will do it too, like KeepVid, KeepVid.com, that you just go there and you put the YouTube video in there, and it converts it to something you can download.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah. So this is TubeSock is Windows or Mac. This has been around for ages. It also works, by the way, with other HTML video sources like TED Talks, and that would be nice too. It'd be nice to be able to put that content on your tablet and watch it on the train.
Right.
It's a great idea.
Okay.
Give it a shot. Let me know. Actually,
May I ask you one other quick question?
Yeah.
If it's not very long. I don't have a Chromecast or one of those Hulu things. I use Dish Network, and I also use Cox Cable to have a very fast internet connection at home.
Yeah.
It's like 50 MIPS or something like that. And so I'm wondering, would a Chromecast be a way to go with getting more content without buying more Dish channels? And I understand you probably can't get local channels, right?
No, yeah. In fact, the only thing that will give you local channels was deemed by the Supreme Court to be illegal. That was Aereo.
Okay.
So I suspect with the failure of Aereo, and they've since gone out of business, that it's unlikely for a while you'll be able to get local channels over the internet. The Chromecast is a little more limited. So the idea is you get a lot of TV just going over the internet. The way the Chromecast works is you have a device, an Android or iPhone, with Chromecast compatible software. And that, so YouTube is an example. And then you select the Chromecast that's hooked up to your TV from the YouTube app, and you say play. It then starts playing through your TV. It no longer needs your tablet. You can use the tablet as a remote control, but it no longer needs it because the Chromecast is now getting it over the Wi-Fi and putting it into the TV. It works with Netflix. It works with YouTube. It works with an ever-growing number of applications, but it's not everything by any means.
I got it. And you still have to subscribe to Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it works. So it works with Google Play. You can buy a TV show or movie. The real issue for this is called cord cutting, by the way. The idea that you would get your television on the internet entirely. You know, if you're lucky enough to live, as I think you are, within reach of with an antenna of local channels, then use the antenna. You can get the local channels that way, and everything else you can watch on the internet. That means pretty much everything. Sling has a new TV thing, Dish Sling TV. Since you're a Dish subscriber, you could probably take a look at this. It's $20 a month. It gives you CNN, ESPN, and a bunch of Disney stuff. It's not by any means complete, but it is, I think, a major first step towards the ultimate dream of just having internet TV entirely. I think we're getting close. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. OI Geek says that his Yonkers Micro Center has about a dozen Win books in open boxes for $42. But you know what that tells me? A lot of returns. That's what those are. Those are returns. So that... James, I hope you're capturing all these ways to watch YouTube. We can have a long list of how to watch YouTube, and that would be our tip of the week, by the way, Josh. How to watch YouTube offline. PlayStation View, I don't know that yet. No, I understand, but it's the same company, right? Well, notice that everything that's on there, except CNN, is Disney, because Disney owns ABC, which owns ESPN. If you have OTA over the air, you're really pretty golden, and then you can get. So you can't get HBO Go without a cable subscription yet, but they say that'll happen this year. So we're starting to see more and more. I think this is going to become an avalanche over the next 2 years of stuff that was traditionally only cable, like HBO, suddenly being subscribable. You may not save money because you got to buy your internet connection, and then it's all going to be a la carte. But that's what you'll get. You may end up spending the same amount of money, but you'll get exactly what you want and nothing more. The way cable bundles right now, if you wanted ESPN or HBO, you'd have to buy others. Actually, HBO you can buy by itself, but some of the channels you may watch. Turner Classic Movies killed me. In order to get Turner Classic Movies, I had to order the top-of-the-line Comcast package because they know people who watch Turner Classic Movies will do anything, including buy the Platinum package just to get it. So that's what's going to change. If you're TCM, you've got to be looking at, well, how do I do it over the top? That is, without the cable companies. I thought TCM was basic as well, but not to Comcast. Whole lot of love. I think that we're talking about cord cutting. The idea, a couple of definitions here. The idea that you could get your TV channels over the top. That is the term that is used to describe getting your television on the internet and not via a cable subscription. You're getting it over the top because it's over the top of your internet. I don't know. That's not a good explanation, but that's the term they use. And we're starting to see it. HBO has said we're going to start offering over-the-top HBO subscriptions this year. ESPN, which is the most single valuable cable channel, they get from the cable company around $16 a month. So if you have Comcast, Time Warner, Cox, Charter, if you have a cable company, they have to pay ESPN $15 for every single subscriber that watches it, that subscribes to it. That's a lot of money. That's more than any other channel, more than HBO. And that's an important part of ESPN's revenue. In fact, yes, ESPN runs ads, but really the bulk of its revenue comes from cable subscriptions, cable payments. And that's why it's a big deal for HBO or ESPN or Turner Classic Movies or any of these cable channels to start offering access to their content without a cable subscription. It makes the cable companies angry. And the cable company's threat is, hey, if you're going to do that, we're going to stop. You're not going to get this money from us. We're going to stop carrying you. Now, companies like ESPN and HBO, I think, feel like they have the market clout to say, well, too bad. No cable company dares not carry ESPN, sports fans being what they are. You got it. It's like CNN. So it's not a surprise at all, in fact, that this Sling TV offering, which is $20, it's internet only. You do not need to have a cable subscription. You do not need to have an antenna. You'll get ESPN and CNN plus some Disney channels. It's no surprise that ESPN and CNN are the two to do that because they have enough clout in the marketplace to say, hey, go ahead, Comcast. See how your customers feel if you stop carrying us. But you're not going to see, there are lots of other channels that just do not have the market clout to do that. And those are the ones, I think, frankly, that when you see Turner Classic Movies would be a good example. Something that I love. I love these old movies on TCM. They're wonderful. No ads. It's great. So because no ads, all the revenue comes from cable companies. The day Turner Classic Movies says, yeah, we're going to offer a $15 a month or $20 a month deal to people so they can watch us on their iPad or their computer, and you won't need a cable company subscription. The day you see that, that's the day the whole edifice crumbles. And finally, this promise of, it's called IPTV, another term, Internet Protocol Television. Television over the internet finally happens. And as soon as TCM does that, then your local stations, who also are very dependent on cable company revenue, despite all the ads they run, the cable company revenue is important to them. They get, it's estimated maybe $4, $5 per subscriber from the cable company. That's a significant part of their revenue. The day, though, the TCM cracks, that's when you start seeing the locals crack. And as soon as the locals crack, so that you can watch the Academy Awards or the Super Bowl or those live events that you need your local channels for, the nightly news, as soon as that happens, I think then the whole thing falls apart. And that's, cable companies dread that because one thing they don't want to be just an internet service provider. Many of us still get our internet from the cable companies, so we're going to still send them money. And the cable companies kind of understand this. It's one of the reasons they have adjusted, shall we say, the cost of internet so that at this point, whether you get TV plus internet or just internet alone, they're still going to ding you for $60, $70 a month. That's why they're jacking up those internet prices, because they know the day is going to come when they cannot charge you extra for those premium channels and the local channels. And so they've got to get those prices up so that it doesn't really much matter whether you get it over the top or from them. They're still going to make the money. And I think that's where we're headed. So don't expect to save money. I think that's, a lot of cord cutters say, oh, I'm going to save lots of money. If you add up the cost of your internet, which is going up, and $20 a month for HBO, $20 a month for ESPN, $20 a month for local channels, it's going to cost you at least as much as it costs right now for your cable company, cable TV. I believe you're not going to save money. What you might get, though, is better choice. It really annoys me that my cable company, I have to buy a high-tier package to get Turner Classic Movies. Many cable companies, that's a basic service. It's basic cable, not on mine. And it's costing me a lot just because I want to watch old movies. But they know they got me. And now I can't just buy, I tried. You call them up, can I get just Turner Classic? Oh, no. Oh, no. You got to bundle that with a lot of channels you don't care about. I don't care about the Speed channel, the Outdoor channel, the Grizzly Adams channel. I don't care. I just want TCM. Nope. Can't get it by itself. So, we're in a changing world, but as it always happens, these companies will find a way to get into our wallet And we'll end up spending just as much. I'm sorry. I don't think you're going to save money. Howard in Tampa, Florida is next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Howard.
Leo, good afternoon. The man who gets to play with technology and get paid for it.
I know. You know, that by the way, do not think I am unaware of that. That was the whole reason I got into this business. I had an expensive technology habit, and I needed to support it.
So you kind of segued into where I'm going. So I have an unlimited data plan Verizon Wireless, and my phone is rooted. I have unlimited data still, and I won't buy internet through my local supplier because it's saving me money. Anyway, I have a Note 2, and I'm kind of stuck between my decision, and I was hoping for your professional opinion to help me along here.
Yes, indeed.
So I can do two things. I can either upgrade my phone, full retail price, so I don't lose my unlimited plan.
That's the way Verizon does it. They don't want you to be unlimited, so they disincent you by saying things like, well, you can't get a subsidized phone.
And that's okay with me because I'm not paying $100 a month for internet.
Still cheaper. And by the way, can I just say these so-called subsidized phones really aren't subsidized. You're paying for it.
Sure.
You're just spreading it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I can either go with a developer edition Note 4. I can go with the new Nexus 6. Or I have an option of saying, you know what, I'll keep my phone. I have unlimited data still. My phone's rooted. I have a hotspot as my connection. Should I go with a tablet? Should I buy
that's interesting.
An Apple? Because for me, I am I like the Android operating system. I like Linux.
Yeah.
For application, Apple really, because it only updates once a year, does offer better quality apps because it's not so broken up between Lollipop and the former apps. So in your opinion, what would be my option? Because either way, I'm still going to spend $600 or $700 on a phone.
That's interesting. In other words, keep the Note 2 and just use it mostly as a phone, and for your digital enjoyment, you use an iPad, for instance.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad way to go. I like the Note 4 a lot. It is close to tablet size. Now, when you get these, 6-inch, 5.5 or 6-inch phones, you're getting kind of close to a small tablet. And I think one of the reasons tablet sales have started to decline is because a lot of people say, well, I don't really need a tablet. I have a Note 4. If everything you like about the Note 2 is better in the Note 4. Incredible camera, which you will not get with an iPad, but maybe you don't care. The stylus and the pressure sensitivity is phenomenal. I think the Note 4 is arguably, it's certainly up there with the top phones of 2014.
How about Nexus 6? So
I have a Nexus 6 as well. Card. I feel the Nexus 6 is a little bit for the price, a little bit disappointing. Okay. It doesn't have an SD card, does not have a removable battery, does not have a stylus. Those are 3 things you get with a Note 4. The screen is bigger; it's 6 inches, not 5.5 or 5 3/4. But I feel like the Nexus 6 is pretty bland and uninteresting. I'd go with the Note 4 or the iPad. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. It's hard to say the Nexus 6 is bad. It's not bad. It's just disappointing. It is very much a reference device still, even though Google now is charging full feature phone price for it. Mine has been crashing. Last night, we're lying in bed, and Lisa said, what's that light? And I looked, and it's my phone rebooting, spontaneously rebooting. And it's been doing that every few days all of a sudden. Now, maybe I have a bad Nexus 6. The only advantage of the Nexus 6, in my opinion, is it's pure Android and always the latest version. Google kind of guarantees that because it's a Nexus device. But I have to say, the One Plus One, if you want to save money, get a One Plus One. You can root it if you want, but it's unlocked. $350 for 64 gigs. I think the cyanogen mod on that is, then you can make it look exactly like Lollipop, indistinguishable from Lollipop with theming. And I think it's better in many ways than Lollipop. I really love the One Plus One. In fact, if it were the choice between the Nexus 6 and the One Plus One, I'd say get a One Plus One. It's half the price. But you still don't get the removable battery, the SD card, and the stylus. So if those are important to you, there's nothing like the Note 4. And the Note 4 has the best camera of all of them. It's probably the best. It's certainly the best Android camera. Comparable, I think, to the iPhone 6. Better in some respects. It's 13 megapixels. It's I would say The Note 4, you could make a strong case is the best camera phone, or certainly one of the top 2 or 3 camera phones in the market. So if camera phone is important, the Note 4. Forget I said Nexus. The Note 4 camera phone is the best. I would not get a Galaxy S4 or S5 at this point, and the S6 is coming out in a couple of months. The Note 4 is remarkable, and I don't carry it because I don't like all the Samsung crap on it. I really like the OnePlus One. By the way, they are going to make that much more available. Now they're going to have, I think, 1 day every month that you can buy it without invite. My favorite Valentine's Day candy is See's chocolates. I mean, although I don't eat them because I can't. But I've been eating this. I really like this sugar-free chocolate somebody brought me. It's really good. Choco Perfection. Okay. See, this is really the thing about this answer is it depends what you're looking for. The Nexus 6 screen is the biggest, nicest screen. Although the Note 4 screen for its size is nicer. It's just a little smaller. The Nexus 6 rocks with front-facing speakers. That's nice. Dual left-right front-facing speakers. But I think speakers on your phone, for most people, that's not. As long as you can hear it. The iPhone has crap speakers. There's a single mono speaker coming out of the bottom. If you hold it like this, you can't hear anything. The Nexus 7 is bigger than the Nexus 6, but it's not a phone, except in Europe. Yeah, I was not a fan of the S5. I think you should get a Note 4 instead of an S5. I think a Note 4 supersedes the S5. Yeah, I agree with you. I think if you need a big screen, the biggest screen you can get a Nexus 6 in terms of phones, but the Note 4 screen is a better screen. I completely agree. You can root the Note and get rid of everything you don't like. I didn't, because I just disable it or hide it. I will get the new TiVo. I will. You know who's really built to perform? That's the GizWiz, Dick DeBartolo, Mad Magazine's maddest writer. This guy, I don't know, are you like this when the lights are off? But when the lights are on, man, he opens the refrigerator, the light comes on, he does 10 minutes. He's an amazing...
Yes, that's why Dennis says, I'll get it from the refrigerator.
You don't need a monologue.
I don't need it, yeah.
Mr. Showbiz here.
Yes. By the way, in Manhattan, and probably the East Coast, to get Turner Classic Movies, it's like 5 tiers up.
Yes.
Yes. And I got, like you said, I got the Speed channel.
I don't want all that stuff.
Yeah,
Barnacle
the
Bill
Barnacle
channel.
Yes. Patio Furniture Reality Channel. I don't
Isn't that? But you and I both love those old movies. In fact, you've been on Turner Classic.
I've been on Turner Classics, and that is, yeah. If I could just get the Turner Classic Channel and ABC News,
yeah,
I'd be, yeah.
And that's the problem is that, and that's why we like this over the top, because nobody wants 100, 500 channels.
No,
you want 5 channels. There's 5 channels you watch all the time. You just want to pay for those. But my point is, the cable companies, you're not going to save any money. By the time we get to that point, they'll make sure it costs you $100+ a month to get the 5 channels you want.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. What do you got for us? Dick, wait a minute. I didn't even introduce you. Dick DeBartolo, Mad Magazine's maddest writer. He is the GizWiz. Each and every week joins us with a great gadget. And what do you got today, Dick?
You know, this is a very unique thing. Lenovo gave me a shout, and they said, you know, we have this new form factor. If you like to borrow one for a month or so, you can see what it's like. It's called the ThinkCentre M83 Tiny, okay?
Wow.
So when the big box came, I opened the box, and the box is like full of foam, and the computer's about the size of a router. It's an Intel i5. It comes with the i3 or the i7.
This isn't a laptop.
No, Leo, it's really great. I think aimed at businesses. So they have the tiny-in-one 23-inch monitor. Leo, there's a door in the back. You open the door, you drop that computer in.
Into the monitor?
Into the you drop the whole computer. The whole computer goes into the monitor.
What?
And when you close the door, you don't see that computer. And when you push the locking bar, it connects all the ports to the ports on the monitor.
So you don't need it's like an iMac. It's like an all-in-one, except that you can detach the computer and bring it in if you need to.
Exactly. And I happen to be looking at your screen. Actually, that's the old version you're looking at there. In the new version, you don't even see the PC.
It's got a toaster.
It's
like
totally,
you pop a piece of bread in.
Yeah. And they were saying that businesses more often replace the PC than the monitor.
Right.
So this is a way you just go in, you flip a button, just
it pops out.
Pop that PC out and drop in a new one. And it just started shipping and starts at, I think, $435 for the M83 Tiny, and the monitor, I think, is about $250.
So, that's not bad. So about $700 you get both.
Yeah.
It's a desktop computer. And if you want to upgrade it, you just pop out the old CPU.
Exactly.
Wow.
And it's interesting. On the box, it says Windows 7 Pro, but there is hardware, there is a media in this box if you want to go to Windows, the latest version of Windows.
Who would want that? It comes with Windows 7?
7.
I'll buy 2. That's awesome.
Oh, okay, it does.
Yeah, see, so Windows 8, they haven't gotten around to I didn't know they could still do this. You should get it now. I think that Microsoft has pulled the plug on that.
On 7?
Yeah, not on 7, but on buying it pre-installed on a computer. I think that's over.
Okay.
So this is probably your last chance to do that. That's good.
That's it. Think Center, the Tiny series.
It's funny. You don't really, think of putting the word tiny in the name of a computer, but I guess so nowadays.
No.
Yeah.
I remember someone who used to work at Techniques. Remember Techniques?
Turntables and everything, yeah.
Yes, and they made great components. And the guy said, we have a hard time selling them because they're tiny. And people can buy great big things. Yes, exactly. Size matters, even in components.
You can find Dick. He's bigger than life at gizwiz.biz. That's his website. Chance for you to, see all the stuff he talks about, including the Lenovo Tiny. His show notes are always there from our appearances, his appearances on our show, but also on World News Now and all the other places. There's the Tiny right there, next to some golf balls. I think
it doesn't come with the golf ball.
Golf ball's not included. But that gives you an idea of the size. You can also, if you click the link, there's a link on the right there that says, what the heck is it? You can win an autographed copy of Mad Magazine by coming up with a clever or accurate, doesn't have to be both, description of this mystery gadget. 12 copies of Mad Magazine for the right answer, 24 for the best wrong answer. So that's gizwiz.biz. Dick also does a great podcast, if I do say so myself, on the Twit Network. That's my podcast network. It's called The Gizwiz. Every Thursday, about 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, with Chad Johnson. Some fun stuff always.
Yeah, we have a great time.
In fact, you mentioned, I'm told you mentioned this Lenovo Tiny there first.
I did.
So you scooped me. That's a great show. If you can't watch it live, you can watch it twit.tv/gizwiz. And stick around because we have a GizFizz today. Yes. Right after the radio show.
Oh, good.
On the network. All right. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. 8888 Ask Leo. A few more minutes in the show if you have a question. Let's continue on with Elizabeth in Irvine, California. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey. Okay, so we're running Mac operating systems at work, right?
Okay.
And when we updated to the latest operating system for the
Yosemite, yes.
10.9?
Yes.
We're all on the same one. Anyway, when you open up a new window and you have your what do you call that? The name, the date modified, the type of file and all that. On the old one, when you opened up a new window, you could see, you can drag
so you have different views on the window.
Yeah. Okay, so this is in the list view.
Okay.
You have to open that window all the way up, all the way across your first 1922-inch screen, all the way onto your second screen to just see the date modified this size.
Oh, yeah, because the columns are so wide.
It drives us insane.
Well, here's a little tip. You can resize those columns. If you go to the column names up at the top there, and you hover your mouse over the line that separates columns, you'll get a double-sided arrow, and you can shrink column sizes to the size you want.
Yeah.
You can even, if you right-click on it, uncheck the columns you don't need. Maybe you don't need to see...
Oh, no. We need them all.
Okay. Or you can add more, by the way. There's other kinds. Use comments and tags, date opened, date added, all that stuff.
Oh, believe me, I've been doing this for years.
Yeah. So
but when you close this window,
yeah,
it reverts back.
Does it? Let me try that. That's it does. It reverts back, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And it didn't used to. This has been driving me crazy for months, I'm telling you, because I have 5, 10, 20 windows open on my... You're my last resort.
Ha ha! Uh-oh. Wow, I didn't notice that, but you're right. It does resort back, and what you'd love is a way to kind of permanently save.
Well, like it used to be.
Yeah. Well, this happens sometimes when companies update the operating system. They change features, and they forget that there are people who depend on features.
I can't be the only one. I know it. Everybody that I work with is wondering too. We have tried everything. Hold down shift, hold down option shift, hold down control, command, drag it over with the lights off. We've tried everything.
Wow. So I'm actually looking at a website that says how to fix the finder name column width bug, but I don't think...
Well, it is your finder, so maybe that's it. Well, how did they say to fix it?
No.
You can email it to me if it's...
I bet you. You know what? I'm going to have to do some research. But I bet you there's a terminal command or something. There's somewhere where it's saving that width. And while they may not give you an easy way to set the default width, I bet you there's a way to do that.
Well, they could send out like a little fix.
They could fix it if we all go, hey.
That's why I'm calling you.
Hey, yeah, hey, Apple. You know, this happens all the time. Anytime you update an operating system, you make some decisions, and sometimes you make decisions that change features that people relied on. Let me do some research, and if I can come up with something, I'll put it in the show notes, or I'll tell you tomorrow, because we're out of time. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, the Tech Guy is just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows now on the Twit Netcast Network, and you'll find them all at twit.tv. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPad on iPad Today. You get your daily dose of tech news from Tech News Today, and our weekly roundtable show, This Week in Tech. It's all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next time with another great Tech Guy podcast. Thanks for joining me. See you next time. How to fix the finder name column width bug in Mavericks. 5% of the time when I open a new Finder window in list view, the name column is much wider than the Finder window itself. Yeah, this is the bug. Would you put this in the show notes, James? The only decent screen is a full-size toggle switch, which is the Finder will have fluidly just, but only when the... He actually wrote an Apple script, which is kind of... Anyway, there you go, Elizabeth. We'll put this in the show notes at techguylabs.com. This is a Yosemite bug, which would be fixed, I think, by installing the current version, which is, this is a Mavericks bug, which will be fixed in Yosemite. That's a free update. That probably is the best thing to do. But I will put this link to christianvarga.com, fix finder name column with bug. So just to make you feel better, this is a bug. This is apparently a known bug, and Yosemite fixes it. So upgrading your operating system, or you could use this Apple script trick, but this feels kind of cumbersome to me. There you go, Elizabeth. Thank you.